To start us off, let me begin with you, Areba. What did you make of the president's inauguration speech in as far as the things he said he was going to deal with in the coming days? And we are keeping eye on his first 100 days in office. What stood out for you?
What stood out for me in the inauguration speech was the straight shooting in terms of trying to work out on what he had already promised during the campaign trail. I could see a president who was already setting the agenda on inauguration day and already showing that indeed I now have the instruments of power. I have been saying of what I can be able, of what I will do from day one, but today is from one day, but now today is day one, so I have to straight get into work. And from the entire speech, of course, he spoke on a wide array of issues, from issues of education to issues of the cost of living. I mean, what he just wanted in the whole speech is to say, now I have the instruments of power. Sit back, relax. I'm on the driver's seat. Now let me drive the agenda. Remember that during the campaign trail, all that he could do was a promissory. And he could just promise and say, this is what we will do. This is what we, if given that mandate by the people of the Republic of Kenya, then I'll be able to do ABCD in what was concocted into what it's called the plan.
Right.
But now from the inauguration speech, it was like, yes, now I have the mandate. Now from the word go, I have to show commitment that I am going to do what I promised. And that is why immediately you saw the Gazette notice coming out for the appointment of the judges, and immediately the next day you could see the swearing in of judges. And on a lighter note, from day one, he already made some appointments. I mean, the jobless former president, or rather retired president, got a job on day one.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll get into those appointments shortly. Ishmael, what stood out for you from the speech, from the body language, all of it?
On the on the positive side, we see that the president was quite energetic and decisive in his approach to both his speech and the issues he raised up.
Right.
And he looked like he was a man in control, in full control. I mean, from the way he was conducting the function. Then on the negative side, there was a lot of misses when forgetting the presidents who had visited him. I mean, it's expected that in a proper protocol, the head of state will be informed in advance who has arrived and they get the list correct. So some of them, and then again delving into the past, trying to besmirk or talk ill of the outgoing former president, so to say. I think that was unnecessary because, I mean, we were having international guests who have come to see, the inauguration.
All right.
And if you ask me, and again, I cannot critique the communication experts who are, leading the president to say what he has to say, it is an inauguration day. In my view, the speech can be shorter, and let the guests go, and then we deal with our internal issues. Like if you look at the deputy president, the way he went overboard in terms of hitting the former president, it was okay if that was a domestic issue amongst us. Right. But we had international guests, and they did not need to know how the DCI used to mistreat the civil servants and all that. So, but again, we are all human beings. Day one, mistakes can happen. But those are the issues I observed, particularly on that day.
We'll get into more of those later on. Mark Bichachi, what did you make of that inauguration day speech from a messaging point of view?
I think thanks, Ben. But I think that President Dr. William Ruto is quite keen to portray himself as a man of action. He is a man on a mission. He's hit the ground running, and I think that is the predominant message that he wanted to come across. I think he set a target for himself for 100 days. He's trying to make sure that every second and every hour and minute of those 100 days actually come to bear for what he is supposed to deliver. In his message, he was quite reconciliatory. He also focused on the economy, and those are the two main issues that Kenyans are concerned about. That one, will he be able to integrate the whole country together as president? And then secondly, will he be able to address the pressing issues affecting Kenyans of all walks of life? The issues around fuel, the issues around unga, the issues around fertilizer, and how farmers are able to access cheaper fertilizers. These are the key issues. But he also has to walk quite a tightrope. For example, in the issue of the port between Mombasa and Naivasha, what is going to happen? Because people in Mombasa are Kenyans. They deserve those services to be there. But at the same time, the people in Naivasha are Kenyans, and there has been an investment on that side as well. So when you look at the balance of things, there are things that he has to walk a tightrope on. The same tightrope is also in the Sahrawi Republic, simply because though Kenya may choose to not recognize the republic, we must remember that there are 40 other states that have, and they are full members of the African Union. So that's where the president has to walk the middle line, and he has to find balance. The other issues, of course, are about have we moved from campaign mode and now looking towards governance questions. That is the key issue again, and I think there is a lot of hangover in the public and in our politics, a hangover around, are we still in the campaign season, or have we moved on in earnest towards now building this country, a task which William Ruto, as I've said before, has set himself up as a man who is on a mission, a doctor who's on a mission to deliver the dosage that he promised the country. And I think that's the key message that he's sending to Kenyans.